So, what's the cost of an hour of your time? No, seriously. You've probably never been invited to hang out with the cool kids, so you might just say, sure, whatever. But this is a mistake. Everything has a price. So let's find out yours. The value of our time isn't static. It depends on the task at hand. We will almost never do a task we dislike, like renaming files properly or listening to 2-minute voice notes. Yeah, good try, buddy. But for the tasks we love, we may even pay money to do it, like going to watch a movie or taking generational debt for university. In other words, the value of our time changes depending on how much we're enjoying ourselves. That's why you're still watching this video, even though I am not paying you to do it. But what about a neutral task? Something you neither love nor hate? Well, neutral time should have the same value regardless of whether you're spending it or saving it. If you could trade 1 hour for $10, you should also be willing to pay up to $10 to save that hour. Simple, right? After all, if it took only $5 to save an hour's task, you should take that deal immediately and use the time saved more productively instead. Congratulations, you invented outsourcing. This also means that if someone is willing to pay a higher rate than your hourly wage, you should take that deal too. All work is interchangeable when everything is neutral. So, just take the highest bidder. It's not that simple. The value of your neutral time also depends on how busy you already are. If you have a lot of free time and you don't know how to spend it, the extra hours have very little value. When your free time is neutral, your neutral time is free. On the other hand, if you're, a functional human being with responsibilities, your time is extremely precious. In fact, the value of our time increases asymptotically with how busy we are. One could buy the first 8 hours of your day for, say, $20 an hour. This is what society likes to call a job. But every additional hour should cost more, ideally speaking. In other words, your time has marginal value. Every side gig you take on should logically earn more than the last one. Otherwise, it's simply not worth your time. Because once you've already sold all 24 hours, your time becomes infinitely expensive, since you have nothing left to give. But there's another dimension to this. You see, extra money does not matter if you already have a lot of it. If you already have $1 billion, let's say, the value of any additional money reduces, but time remains scarce and hence its value goes up. It's basic demand and supply. At that point, an extra $1 million feels like spare change, but an extra hour, well, that's another quick trip to your favorite island. On the other hand, if you have barely any money to scrape by, you will trade your time for it at any cost, even if it's lower than your hourly wage. You're just a destitute prostitute. After a certain point, the value of additional money is inversely proportional to how much you already have. And naturally, there's a limit to how much money a person could possibly want, right? Oh, by the way, there's a level of broke I haven't even captured in this graph. Can you see what's missing? That's right, students. We are forgetting the most important thing. What if I told you only had a day to live? Why would you choose to spend it doing something neutral? For any price. This means that the value of time also depends on how much longer you expect to live. The closer you are to death, the more valuable time becomes. No amount of money can buy you any happiness if you have exhausted all the time to experience it. Hence, your last day on earth should never be neutral. Putting all of this together, the value of your time now depends on your hourly income, how busy you are, how much money you already have, and how much longer you expect to live. This gives us the magic equation that answers, once and for all, just how valuable our time is. Everyone's entire existence reduced to a single number. It's pretty cool to know that I only need to sell my entire lifetime 100 times over before I can get my favorite billionaire to do my bidding for a change. All of these arguments point to the value of time increasing as you get older and richer. It makes sense, of course, you now have less time and more money. But this is fundamentally flawed for 3 reasons. Number 1, this fails to take into account that you'll only be young once. Why are you saving up time for a future when you can no longer use it? Number 2, we have no idea when we're going to die. Hence, undervaluing your time has infinitely more risk than overvaluing it. The risk-reward ratio of selling time makes no sense actually. There are too many things outside of your control. But number 3, if you know your time is going to be much more valuable when you're older, then why? Why aren't you valuing it today? It's like if I told you about the future of Bitcoin in 2012, but you still decide to trade it away for, I don't know, an iPhone or something. You see how stupid that is. But that's exactly what you're doing with your time. It's never going to come back. In fact, the whole concept of neutral time is ridiculous. Why is it neutral? We only live once, so why aren't we doing the things we love instead? And who gave anyone the right to buy our time? Money isn't everything. It's time we all stood up for ourselves and our value. Look, we all need money, so we trade some time for it. But life isn't about maximizing the value of your time. Life is the time itself. So don't spend it cheaply. But I'm still figuring it out, so what do I know? Anyway, if you like this video, don't be neutral about it. It keeps me going. See you in the next one.